Sebastian Vettel had dominated Formula 1 for 4 years with Red Bull Racing, but 2015 would be a new challenge for the German. Ever since debuting in 2007 for BMW Sauber, he had been hailed as one of F1's brightest talents. His first victory came in 2008 at the rain-soaked Italian Grand Prix in the uncompetitive Toro Rosso. Success led to promotion to Red Bull Racing, as he went on to win the World Championship for 4 consecutive years, including dominating the 2013 season and breaking several records. However, in 2014, many new rule changes were introduced, and Vettel struggled with his new car, only managing 4 podium finishes, being outperformed by teammate Daniel Ricciardo and failing to win a race for the entire season saw Sebastian leave the team at the end of the season. For 2015, it was a new chapter for Sebastian, as he announced that he would be joining Ferrari for the new season, and with a brand new team, Vettel was confident that he could return to his championship winning form. Can he perform with his new team and match Michael Schumacher's success? All eyes are on the 4-time world champion as the 2015 season kicks off in Melbourne.
We're about to join the action in what is sure to be an interesting practice session here in Melbourne. It's not long until we get the session underway and we'll have some cars appearing out on the track. The teams will be visiting tracks across 5 continents as they battle it out for both the drivers and the constructors' championships. What race on the calendar do you think the teams will have a special eye on this year?
Well, I think the teams will be looking forward to the Mexican Grand Prix, which is being held back at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico City. It was last run way back in 1992.
This year sees Honda return to the sport, reforming one of the greatest partnerships in F1 history with McLaren. Do you think they can rekindle the success they had during the 80s and the 90s?
It won't be easy, but yes, I think so. It's been a tough few years for McLaren, with the loss of Hamilton, Mercedes withdrawing as a shareholder and major investor in the team, and losing technical director Paddy Lowe. This could mark the start of their return to prominence.
Hey, what's up? It is Dan, or DMAN96 here, and welcome to episode 1 of Sebastian's Return to Glory, my first F1 2015 series. And after a very difficult 2014 season where he failed to collect a victory with Red Bull Racing, Sebastian Vettel is now with the Ferrari team, feeling very confident after pre-season testing that him and his new team can challenge Mercedes for a title this year, as he is about to do a lap in practice for the Australian Grand Prix, and this lap has looked pretty good so far on the prime tyres, but Sebastian did say that he didn't really want to spend too much time in practice in order to save the tyres for the race on Sunday and on Saturday as well. As he rounds the final couple of corners now, Felipe Massa has set the fastest lap time. Lewis Hamilton's now set the fastest time. Sebastian has been on a pretty decent lap as he comes across the start-finish line right now. DRS wide open, and he's only a couple of attempts off Lewis Hamilton, but that will be the only lap that he sets in practice, and that's only good enough for 7th place as everyone else went out on option tyres. His teammate Kimi Räikkönen did set the fastest lap time, so it's looking like that he could be a big challenge in qualifying. But now, let's go straight into the qualifying report. After a long pre-season, Formula 1 returned to the city of Melbourne for the start of the 2015 World Championship at the Australian Grand Prix. All the fans were eagerly anticipated for the start of qualifying as the cars went out on track. Manor weren't expected to be as quick as their rivals, especially as they were running a modified version of their 2014 car, and that would prove to be the case as both drivers will line up at the back of the grid, with Roberto Merhi being the better driver over teammate Will Stevens. McLaren struggled with their Honda power unit throughout pre-season testing, and their struggles continued this weekend, with Button and Alonso only managing to beat the two Manners in 17th and 18th respectively. Force India missed the first week of testing at Jerez, and that seemed to have cost them, as Sergio Perez and Nico Hülkenberg locked out row 8 after a miserable qualifying. Lotus's change from Renault to Mercedes power unit seemed to have paid off, with Romain Grosjean making it into the top 10 as teammate Pastor Maldonado struggled to 14th. There was lots of expectations going into qualifying for F1's youngest driver Max Verstappen, and in his first qualifying session he just missed out on the top 10 starting 11th, whilst teammate Carlos Sainz Jr. made it into the top 10 and will start right ahead of his young teammate in 9th. Sauber looked promising in testing, and they showed good pace in qualifying with Felipe Nasr in 12th, one position ahead of teammate Marcus Ericsson. Williams driver Valtteri Bottas was disappointed with his qualifying performance to line up in 8th, however teammate Felipe Massa was over the moon with his performance to put his car on the second row of the grid in 4th. Despite not looking as strong as last year, Daniel Ricciardo was pleased to put his Red Bull car in 5th, with teammate Daniel Kvyat 2 positions behind in 7th. However, at the front it would be defending world champion Lewis Hamilton taking the top spot in qualifying, with the new Mercedes proving to be as quick as it was in 2014. However, in second place wasn't teammate Rosberg, but Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari. Team principal Maurizio Arrivabene is confident that the new car can produce good performances and fight for wins. So with all the action in qualifying, what will happen in the race? It is time for the Australian Grand Prix.
The crowd are here and they're here in numbers for the first race of the season. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. It's a great position for Lewis Hamilton to start the season from, and one that he'll be hoping he can capitalise on and turn into a race win today.
Well, we all know that Lewis has raw speed, and if you give him a fast car, he'll win races. So if he can stay out front by the end of the first few corners, I'm sure he's going to be very difficult to beat.
It's been a race against the clock for Sauber this morning after they found an issue with the car and had to strip it down through the night. But now it's fixed and both cars are good to go.
Not the best preparation to a Grand Prix, but he'll have to put that out of his mind now and just concentrate on the race start.
So we are about to get underway here for the Australian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel sitting on the front row alongside Lewis Hamilton. What a great way to start off his career with Ferrari. As the lights are about to go out here at Australia for the start of the 2015 season. It is lights out and away we go for the Australian Grand Prix. It's a poor start for Lewis Hamilton as we go down towards turn 1. Nico Rosberg's got off to an absolutely fantastic start as the field goes down towards turn 1. Rosberg leads, Vettel second. Massa's taken Lewis Hamilton. Massa's overtaken Hamilton. Hamilton's dropped down to 4th. A poor start for Lewis Hamilton as Rosberg goes down towards turn 3. I think someone's gone off in the background, but what a start from Nico Rosberg. An absolutely poor start for Lewis Hamilton, who's dropped down to 4th. Vettel in 2nd, Massa 3rd, Hamilton in 4th, and I think that's Daniel Ricciardo in 5th. But a brilliant start for Nico Rosberg, who is starting to pull away from Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari right now. And Lewis Hamilton was easily the loser for starting line. So let's take a look at his start again. As you see, he just didn't get off the line at all well. And Nico Rosberg goes straight past him, easily get onto the better start. And going down to turn 1, just both Vettel and Massa have better runs than Hamilton going to turn 1. Hamilton drops from 1st to 4th in one corner. So now, back with Sebastian Vettel now, who's trying to keep Felipe Massa behind him. And Nico Rosberg's pulled away quite a bit as we start sector 3 right now. He's already nearly 2 seconds ahead. Yep, just seen there from the graphic. But Nico Rosberg leads after a fantastic start, and Sebastian Vettel 2nd and Felipe Massa in 3rd. I've no idea what's happened to Lewis Hamilton really. It was just a poor start for him as the drivers now just enter into the final couple of corners, and Sebastian had a pretty good start, pretty good first lap for him. Now he's just got to hope that he can keep up to Rosberg and maybe challenge him for the lead later on in the race. As they just go around the final corner now, and how close is Vettel behind Rosberg? We'll find out as they go across the start-finish line right now. Rosberg goes across, and Vettel is only... he's closed the gap a little bit, only 1.3 seconds. But we're now going back to Lewis Hamilton, and he's gone to the pits at the end of lap 1. A big surprise. And I don't know what he's doing, but he must have a problem with the car. He's pitted, and he's all the way down in last place by an absolute long way now. So a bit of a strange decision there for Hamilton and Mercedes. As we go back with Sebastian Vettel now, who is on his second lap. He's trying to catch up to Nico Rosberg, and he's having a pretty good time. I mean, he's slightly catch up to Rosberg, and Massa is just dropping back. As you see, he's nowhere to be seen as the top 2 start to pull away, and are just about to start their 3rd lap right now. Nico Rosberg leads, Sebastian Vettel 2nd, and what an exciting couple of first laps it has been, as Lewis Hamilton, having a very awful start, has just gone into the pits, and now he is down in last and is pretty much nowhere to be seen as Nico Rosberg goes into the final corner now. So does Sebastian Vettel. And what is the gap going to be? I think it was 1.3 seconds at the end of the first lap. At the end of the second lap, it's going to be 2 points. It's 2 seconds. So Vettel has lost some time in this lap, so it's definitely not been a good lap for him as he goes wide at the start of turn 2 there. And he's got to make some time if he wants any chance of winning this Grand Prix. He has a brilliant chance of starting second. And with Hamilton out of the picture, it definitely is a good chance for Vettel now as we go on to the end of lap 3. Not much happening in this race, just Vettel trying to keep closing in on Rosberg. And it looks like he has closed in slightly as Rosberg goes now to start the 4th lap of the Grand Prix. We'll have a look at the gap on the left-hand side of the screen right now. And Vettel sets the fast lap for race and has managed to get 7 tenths out of Nico Rosberg there. 1.3 seconds is the gap as they head on to lap 4, and a brilliant lap for Sebastian, who has just set the fastest lap of the race. Now he is really charging to Nico Rosberg. He really wants to get this victory. To skip on to lap 6 now. Sebastian Vettel is only 1 second, so he is nearly within DRS range of Rosberg as they're just about to start lap 7. So we got quite a way into this Grand Prix now as he's going to have a little look. He brakes quite late and he's going to have a little look around the outside, but he knows he wasn't going to pull her off. Rosberg easily holding it on the inside line there as we go into the final few corners again now, as Rosberg has Vettel right behind him. It's going to be very close, but Vettel will have DRS going onto the start-finish straight now into the final corner, and the DRS will be activated now as Vettel has it wide open. He needs straight line speed to try and get past Rosberg. He'll have an amazing run going down to turn 1, and he's only 2 tenths behind Rosberg, so he could easily do it going into turn 1 now. Is he going to have it? He's got the inside line, and Sebastian Vettel leads the Australian Grand Prix, and that was a brilliant pass with DRS assisted there. The good move Sebastian, who now takes lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Let's take a look at that again from the replay. And Vettel having DRS wide open and a good run into turn 1. Nico Rosberg didn't really have a chance of defending that position, and now Sebastian Vettel leads the Grand Prix. But for how long will Rosberg come back at him? We'll find out later on in the race. But Sebastian Vettel now leads the Australian Grand Prix as we go on to lap 8 now, so we're skipping ahead a couple more laps as Sebastian Vettel still holding off Nico Rosberg, who has been catching up slightly though. As Sebastian's tyres are starting to go off. Pit stops are going to be coming round the corner. I think it's the next lap. I think Sebastian is due in. And the same goes for Nico Rosberg. Sebastian's not having the best line going into final corner, and Nico Rosberg has the DRS this time going into turn 1. Will he make the move going somewhere? He's only 3 tenths behind, and no, Nico Rosberg doesn't even try going into turn 1 to make a move on Sebastian Vettel now as we go down the straight. Nico Rosberg on board with him right now as he will have the DRS going down into the turn 3 now, and it was very close. He had a little look, but Sebastian's gone wide, and Nico Rosberg switched to the inside, and Rosberg takes back the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel now drops down to P2, and it was a mistake that he made there, and he's hoping now he can actually catch up and retake the position of Rosberg as we go into turn 6 on lap 9 now. But I'm actually hearing there's actually a retirement in this Grand Prix, and that's Lewis Hamilton. He's pulling over to one side and he's out. An absolute shame for defending champion, who has been through a lot. He had a poor start, he's pitted, and now he's out of the first round. And a very poor race for the defending champion Lewis Hamilton as we go back to the leaders now. And Sebastian Vettel's tyre has gone just before the first round of pit stops, and that's going to lose him a hell of a lot of time as Nico Rosberg is pulling away as we go into the pits for Vettel now. Disappointment there, and that has pretty much thrown all of his chances of winning pretty much away now. As Rosberg's already out of his pit box, Vettel is pitting another set of option tyres now, and I dread to think what the gap is going to be between these two, as well Sebastian has lost a huge amount of time to Rosberg. Massa has caught up slightly as well, but he's still in second position, well technically in second position, as I believe Daniel Kvyat is coming down the start finish straight. Yes, he is. So he will take second for the time being, but he has yet to pit. So Sebastian Vettel is still second, but how much time has he lost to Nico Rosberg? I don't know, but Rosberg is just miles ahead, as you see on the minimap there. And Daniel Kvyat is just, well, he's just right there, so I think Vettel can easily take the position as Kvyat's tyres are pretty much gone. And as you can see, he's driving very slowly, and Vettel has got the speed on the new fresh option tyres. As we go to start sector 3 right now, Vettel moving to the inside line, Kvyat just really getting out of the way. Didn't really want to get involved there with Sebastian. As the corner cutting slightly there, so you've got to be careful you're driving there, Seb. But as we now move on, we're going to go further back on the grid. Here's Felipe Massa battling with Kimi Räikkönen for position. He makes a brilliant overtake going down into turn 2, forced a little bit wide. There's a couple of back markers in the way. He's trying to switch to the outside, and he slams straight into the back of Carlos Sainz Jr. I have no idea what Massa was attempting to do on Sainz there. So we have a look on board from Pastor Maldonado. I think he was trying to lap him, but he just completely misshaped that and ended up running straight into the back of a Toro Rosso driver. But as we now go back to Sebastian Vettel, who is in second, and he's nearly 8 seconds behind Nico Rosberg. That puncher has lost him a lot of time as he just laps the back markers of Romain Grosjean and Roberto Merri as he goes into start lap 16 now, and Rosberg is miles away, and I think it's almost safe to say that Rosberg he's pretty much won the Grand Prix already, as it's going to be a tough job for the Ferraris to catch up with him, as we know Mercedes is extremely quick. And that is Sergio Perez there, facing the wrong way, and Sebastian almost hitting him. I think we're going to take a little look at the replay of what happened to Sergio So we're going to take a look at the replay now. So here is Sergio Perez. I think he's got a puncher. And that is Nico Hülkenberg shoving him around. I don't know what his teammate was doing. A very unsportsmanlike teammate. Nico Hülkenberg was being there, and he rejoins track. That's Will Stevens slapping right into the back of him. And that's another retirement from this Grand Prix. And Will Stevens and Sergio Perez now facing the wrong way. I think he's rejoined the track now. But Sebastian Vettel making a very interesting decision. As you see on the info board there, he says pit on lap 18. But since he had that puncher early on in the race, he's going to try and pit a lap earlier and maybe get an undercut on Nico Rosberg, since he has lost a huge amount of time to a Mercedes driver. So he comes out of the pits on the prime set of tyres. It will be his final pit stop in the race. And the important question is, will he be able to make some time on Nico Rosberg once he pits for his final pit stop? And I'm actually just going to notice something now. That Daniel Ricciardo, after all of this, has actually moved up into third place in the Red Bull. So brilliant drive from him so far. But now Sebastian's got to have a brilliant lap here before Nico Rosberg comes in for pits, as I believe he is now. Sebastian starts lap 19. Nico Rosberg is in the pits. A load of cars in the pits, and I think one of them is Nico Rosberg. A lot of them are back markers though. Yep, that is, I think that's Valtteri Bottas, and we've just lapped him. But Nico Rosberg, I think on the mini-map, I think that dot is Rosberg, and Sebastian has gained some time on him. So this battle is not over yet, and Sebastian Vettel can still win this race as we go into turn 3 now. And Rosberg is really slowing down. We're on board with him right now, and he's got a back mark. That's Felipe Nasser Sauber. He's hit the wall. He's really slowing down now. He's really got a lot of trouble now. And Sebastian Vettel is right behind him. He's going to make a move down the inside line. And Sebastian Vettel is back in the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Nico Rosberg is driving very slowly. I have no idea what's going on. And he has absolutely dropped off the pace of Vettel. And now this has put Sebastian Vettel back in control of this Grand Prix. And now he is in the lead. And now moving on to lap 21. And as you'll be able to see on the minimap, that the gap to Ricciardo is absolutely massive. He's nowhere to be seen. 34 seconds from the last sector. Sebastian Vettel is completely in control of this race after Nico Rosberg just having that incident with Felipe Nasser. As we've only got a few laps to go, and Sebastian looks like he has this one in the bag, as Rosberg now, we're on board with him, and he's approaching Felipe Nasser once again, and he just can't get enough of him, can't he? So Nasser has ruined Rosberg's chances of winning this race, and now it looks like he's ruined Rosberg's chances of even getting any points in this Grand Prix, as Rosberg just didn't see him at all. Nasser driving very, very slowly. I don't think Rosberg just saw him there, as now we're going back on board with Sebastian Vettel, who is just approaching the fast chicane now, as he's just about to start set 3, and he just went through some debris there, and there were some back markers in the way, so I think that debris might have been from one of those back markers. And yes, Nico Hülkenberg is one of those cars, and I think it's Nico Rosberg, and I think they both lost their front wing, and Sebastian goes to lap both of them, and he's hit Hülkenberg, and he's spun. He is spun, but he's going to lose a slight bit of time to Ricciardo. But what were they doing? They were driving really slowly. I don't think they had front wings on. Well, I don't think Nico Rosberg didn't. I think Nico Hülkenberg didn't as well. But Sebastian Vettel has spun, and he's still in the lead because he still has a massive gap to Ricciardo in second. 14 seconds is the gap to Vettel and his former teammate Daniel Ricciardo. So it definitely looks like now that Sebastian Vettel has this race in the bag as he comes around to start lap 26. And not much is going to happen in this race, I don't think, now, as we are actually going to go on board to the final lap of the Grand Prix, where we see Max Verstappen battling with Daniil Kvyat and Felipe Massa, who's just gone into a pit on the final lap of the Grand Prix, and that's going to cost him of a third place finish, as Kvyat starts his final lap. It's promoted him up to third, and Max Verstappen has the DRS on the Red Bull driver as we go into turn 1. It's Verstappen going to take the podium on the final lap of the Grand Prix. It looks like he has as we go around the outside. He's forced a little bit wide, so he's still side by side going down the street, but I think Verstappen just has it, and Max Verstappen has taken third off his sister teammate Daniil Kvyat on the final lap of the Grand Prix. But we go back on board with Sebastian Vettel, who is rounding the final couple of corners to take a fantastic victory. He's been through a lot this race. He didn't get off to the best of starts. He spun, he had a tyre failure, and now Sebastian Vettel comes round the final corner to take a fantastic victory here at Melbourne, Australia, on his debut for Ferrari. So a very entertaining race, more from the AI perspective, I should say. Sebastian Vettel does cross the line and take the win set the fast lap for Grand Prix as well. 8 seconds back to Daniel Ricciardo, who was closing in the final few laps as Vettel was struggling with saving fuel. Max Verstappen finishing in third, becoming the youngest driver ever to finish on the podium, with Kvyat fourth, Jenson Button in McLaren Honda fifth, Raikkonen sixth, Massa seventh, Rosberg managing eighth, with Bottas and Hulkenberg completing the top 10. So now moving on to the driver standings. There's no point showing the drivers' championship really, because it's the same as the top 10. But as we go on to the constructors' standings now, and Ferrari lead 3 points ahead of Red Bull in second and Toro Rosso in third. Mercedes down in sixth. I don't see that lasting that long really. I think Mercedes will bounce back going as we go into the next race in Malaysia. But I hope you guys enjoyed the race. Now it's time for the podium. So here are the drivers coming onto the podium right now, with Max Verstappen in third, Daniel Ricciardo in second, and the winner Sebastian Vettel in first. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please remember to leave a like, comment down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Until next time guys, it's me DMath96, and I'll catch you guys later.